Heartwarming tears and a wrong number, discover the amazing hidden love of a billionaire. In a quaint, tree-lined suburb of Columbus, Ohio, Emily Carter started every morning like clockwork. The rhythmic chaos of breakfast preparations filled her home a cinnamon-scented, handmade world of colorful toys and craft supplies, where her 8-year-old son, Tommy, buzzed around like a tiny tornado. Despite the mountain of bills glaring at her from the counter, Emily filled their cozy home with laughter. But as 5 a.m. crept in, the shadows of financial strain loomed over her like an unwelcome guest. She woke with tightness in her chest, panic flickering behind her eyes as she glanced at the unending list of orders that had dwindled to nearly nothing. She juggled her craft business and motherhood like a circus performer, but the weight of uncertainty threatened to send her crashing down. One afternoon, between gluing buttons onto plush toys and sending off last-minute shipments, Emily's life took an unexpected turn. A phone call interrupted her hurried crafting session. Startled, she answered the unfamiliar business line, unaware it was meant for a reclusive billionaire named Jack Whitaker. "Hello," she greeted, scanning the room for Tommy, who was playing in the corner. "Is this where I can reach Jack Whitaker?" A deep voice inquired, tinged with frustration. No, but you seem like you need a friendly ear," Emily blurted out, feeling the energy shift as she unexpectedly shared her thoughts. Jack hesitated, drawn in by her warmth. "I suppose I do. Just talk." They talked for hours, sharing dreams and disappointments as if years had melted away. Jack, burdened by grief and isolation after his father's death, and Emily, a fierce single mom, discussed their strikingly different worlds. Emily's laughter sparked a flicker of life in Jack's heart, while his genuine interest flattered Emily in ways she hadn't felt in years. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. As the weeks passed, their calls became a sanctuary. Emily leaned on Jack's comforting voice, sharing the struggles of everyday life while Jack opened up about the pressures of wealth and the emptiness that followed his father's legacy. But, even as their connection deepened, Emily couldn't shake the gnawing doubt. What could a billionaire truly know about hardship? Then, without warning, the economy shifted. Emily's small business faced an onslaught of struggles, her savings dwindling like the fading light of day. She fought to keep it together for Tommy, sheltering him from the rising tides of chaos. Meanwhile, Jack, more entwined in her life than ever, wrestled with the idea of using his fortune to help her. It set the stage for a confrontation that lingered heavily in the air. As Jack prepared to reveal how he felt about Emily and his wish to support her, uncertainty swirled between them. Would love conquer the divide of wealth, or would their budding connection slip through their fingers like sand? Emily stood there, her heart racing. Could she risk accepting help, or would she fracture the hard-won lessons of resilience she sought to impart to Tommy? The next call came just as the sun dipped below the rooftops, casting a golden glow through the kitchen window. Emily was in the middle of making a batch of cookies for Tommy's upcoming school event when her phone buzzed again. The familiar number sent her heart racing. She wiped her hands on her apron, a mix of excitement and apprehension fluttering in her stomach. "Hey, Jack." She answered, her voice carrying the warmth of their growing bond. "Emily, I've been thinking." Jack's voice was steady, yet she could sense an undercurrent of hesitation. "What's on your mind?" she asked, bracing herself. "Well, I know your business has been struggling. I'd like to help you," he blurted out, his tone earnest. Emily's heart sank a little. "Jack, you don't have to. I'm managing." But the truth twisted in her chest. She was barely managing. While Tommy danced around the house pretending to be a superhero, she felt like she was crumbling under the weight of expectations and responsibilities. "Please, just let me help," Jack urged, the frustration and tenderness blending in his voice. But it's complicated, Jack. I don't want to feel like a charity case. It's not about charity. It's about caring for someone I've come to admire. His sincerity washed over her like a bomb, but doubt still lingered like smoke in the air. Taking a deep breath, she finally replied, I guess I thought we were building something real, something between us. But how can I trust that this wouldn't change everything? Don't you see? That's what makes this different. I want to support you, not control you. His words were raw, filled with an authenticity she couldn't ignore. You've opened up a part of my world that was closed off. I can't just sit back and watch you struggle. Emily rubbed her forehead, a familiar ache pulsing beneath her skin. What if accepting his help meant risking their connection? She felt her walls shuddering. Before she could respond, the unmistakable sound of Tommy's giggles filled the room, pulling her mind back to reality. In the midst of their conversation, she heard him run into the kitchen. Mom! Look what I made! He exclaimed, his face lit up with pride. Jack chuckled softly. Sounds like you've got a little artist there. Emily's heart swelled as she watched Tommy proudly present his colorful drawing of superheroes. She wanted so desperately to say yes to Jack, to let him in, to let herself believe that they could conquer the challenges ahead together. But inwardly, a war waged within her, pride, fear, and hope intermingled. Tommy, this is amazing. She beamed, leaning down to hug her son. The unconditional love wrapped around her like a warm quilt, stirring up thoughts of family and stability. She couldn't help but think about how it would feel to have that support structure, Jack's support behind her. As she smiled at her son, she found the strength to answer Jack. I need to think about it. Take your time, he replied softly, as if sensing her struggle. Just know I'm here for you, no matter what. After they ended the call, Emily poured herself a glass of water, staring out at the setting sun. This was more than just a conversation about money or help. It was about connection, vulnerability, and deciding whether to take a leap of faith. As Tommy bounced around the kitchen, Emily found herself at a crossroads. Could she confront her fears and let Jack into their lives despite the differences? Or would she ultimately shut the door on the chance of a brighter future? With tension still humming in the air, uncertainty weighed heavily on her heart. As the twilight rolled in, she could feel the flickering candle of hope within her. But would she have the courage to let it shine brightly? Just then, her phone buzzed again. A message from Jack: whenever you're ready, I believe in you. The affirmation sent her heart fluttering and questions racing through her mind about how to embrace this opportunity without losing herself. And at that moment, all she could do was wonder what would her decision mean for the future. The next morning came too quickly, hovering right at the edge of Emily's awareness. Tommy's laughter echoed through the house as he whipped around, sporting a cape he had fashioned from an old blanket. She loved these moments, the way they filled her home with joy, but today, with Jack's offer lingering in her mind, the laughter felt bittersweet. Mom, can we go to the park? I want to save the world. He shouted, his tiny fists raised in determined mock heroism. Emily nodded, her smile wide but her heart heavy. Of course, hero. Just let me finish these cookies first. As she measured flour and sugar, her thoughts spun between her responsibilities as a mother and the creeping dread of her business's future. Jack's words echoed like a soft whisper, pushing against her doubts. She needed to reply, but what if accepting help from Jack meant losing everything she had worked for? What would that mean for Tommy? By the time they finished their baking marathon, the morning sun was warming the kitchen. She carefully placed the cookies onto the cooling rack, their sweet smell filling the air. Mom, can you hurry? I need to save the world before lunch. Tommy bounced. Okay, just let me clean up a bit, she replied, stalling but knowing time was precious. As they made their way to the park, the sun blazed softly overhead, casting long shadows on the sidewalk. Emily watched Tommy run down the trail, his laughter ringing out like music. Every laugh pushed aside the worry gnawing at her heart. In that moment, their togetherness felt like clarity untouchable and perfect. When they arrived, the park was alive with families enjoying the warm day. She settled on a bench while Tommy dashed toward the playground, his cape fluttering behind him. As she watched him climb and jump with fearless abandon, the happiness in his small face filled her with warmth. But would it be enough? Her phone buzzed again, breaking her reverie. Jack had sent another message, "Let us talk today. I really want to hear what you think." Emily's heart raced. She stared at the screen, contemplating how much she longed to reach out to him, but could she really make that leap? "Mom, look at me!" Tommy shouted, swinging from the monkey bars. His face was filled with pure joy. She cheered him on, her heart swelling. But beneath the surface, she was still wrestling with a decision that felt too big to face alone. Finally, she took a deep breath, understanding that saying yes could deeply intertwine their lives with Jack's, altering the narrative she'd woven for herself and her son. Yet, turning him away would mean forever wondering, what if? As they headed home later, chocolate-stained hands gripping hers, Emily felt a familiar tug. She had courage once, she'd need to find it again. "Hey, buddy, what if we go to that ice cream shop you love after lunch?" His eyes lit up. "Yes. And we can eat outside." "Absolutely." She laughed, the buoyancy bursting from her heart. She pulled out her phone again, the screen glowing enticingly, and hesitated just for a moment longer. Could she invite Jack into their lives? With Tommy giggling beside her, she typed out a quick response to his message, "I'm ready to talk." As soon as she hit send, a wave of relief washed over her, mixed with a flutter of nerves. She needed to embrace this leap, failing would be better than living in doubt. But just then, her phone buzzed in her pocket again. A new message from an unknown number popped up. "Hey there, Emily. We need to talk." The urgency in the tone sent a chill down her spine. Who could this be? And as worry crept back in, she wondered if maybe, just maybe, this unexpected twist could change everything yet again. Emily's heart raced as she stared at the screen. The message from the unknown number felt ominous, like an unwelcome shadow creeping across the sunshine of her day. She glanced over at Tommy, who was still thrilled, climbing and swinging through the air. How could a mere text disrupt her world like this? "Who is it, Mom?" Tommy called out, his eyes bright with innocent curiosity. "Oh, just a friend." "Don't worry about it," she replied, trying to keep her tone light. As much as she wanted to ignore the unease fluttering in her stomach, she couldn't shake the feeling that something important was about to unfold. With a quick swipe, she opened the message again, her fingers trembling slightly. The words were simple yet unsettling, "We need to talk." It felt so abrupt, so direct. There was no name, no introduction, just an urgent demand. Details surged in her mind. What if this message was something related to her business? What if it's about that semi-rude acquaintance who had been spreading rumors? Or, worse yet, what if it was about Tommy? "Let us get ice cream, remember?" she said, forcing a cheerful grin, her mind spinning. She stood, tucking the phone away in her pocket. Tommy raced to her, a wild ball of energy as he waved his arms. "Can we get the rainbow sprinkles? Please." "Of course. You know I can't say no to rainbow sprinkles." As they walked, she closed her eyes for a fleeting moment, savoring the warmth of the sun and the sound of Tommy's laughter echoing through the air. But the reality of the message gnawed at her. Perhaps it was time for a deeper conversation about her business, about risks, about the possibility of Jack stepping in to help. Once they arrived at the ice cream shop, the sweet scent of waffle cones wafted through the door. The shop was bustling with families, their laughter blending into a joyful hum. Emily climbed onto her toes to scan the flavors behind the counter, but her mind was still locked in the digital exchange. "Mom! Look at all the flavors!" Tommy exclaimed, his eyes wide. He spun around, his cape trailing like a comet. "Okay, buddy, let us pick one," she said, though her heart wasn't in it yet. She could barely focus on the array of choices lined up before her. In that moment, the door swung open, and an older gentleman walked in. He wore a faded blue baseball cap and a relaxed smile that seemed to draw everyone's attention, even amidst the chatter. As he glanced around, Emily felt an odd sense of familiarity tug at the back of her mind. She couldn't place it, but he seemed somehow integral to the whirlwind of emotion stirred up within her that day. Just then, her phone buzzed again. Emily glanced down, her heart sinking as she saw it was another text from the mysterious number. "Meet me at the park in 10 minutes. It's urgent." Tommy didn't notice her hesitation, still bouncing with excitement about the ice cream. "Can we eat it outside?" "Yes." But first she began, trying to gather her thoughts. But what could she say? The ice cream could wait. The tug of urgency was too strong. She looked at her son, so full of life and joy, then caught a glimpse of the stranger who seemed to be absorbing every detail of the scene unfolding before him. "Let South go to the park," Emily said suddenly. "I think some business needs my attention." Tommy pouted for a moment, but then his eyes brightened again. "Can I play on the swings?" "Absolutely." She felt excitement mix with the anxiety still swirling inside her. Was she really about to step into a conversation that could change everything? As they left the ice cream shop, she took one final look at the man in the blue cap. Their eyes met for a brief second, and in that instant, there was a flicker of recognition, a whisper from the universe that something bigger was unfolding. "Mom, hurry please. I want to swing." Tommy pulled her hand. After all, today was about bravery. They might be stepping into something extraordinary or a complete whirlwind of chaos. With her heart pounding, she made her way toward the park, wondering what awaited. Could the urgent message have the potential for a new beginning, or, perhaps, would it reveal another layer of life's unpredictable path? And as they walked, step by step, toward whatever lay ahead, she knew this was only the beginning of a surprising chapter. What awaited her at the park? What truth would reveal itself there? The park was alive with laughter and joy, the soft rustle of leaves carrying the sounds of summer. Emily watched Tommy sprint ahead, his little legs pumping with energy, his cape fluttering behind him like a flag of innocence. But her mind was racing, trying to decipher the weight of the looming meeting. As they reached the swings, she glanced around, searching for the familiar face that had sent the message. And just as she was about to settle in, she spotted him. The man in the blue cap stood at the edge of the playground, watching with a calm intensity. He seemed to be waiting for something or someone. "Mom, come push me!" Tommy shouted, breaking through her thoughts like a spark in dry grass. She moved to him, forcing a smile, trying to let the carefree spirit of the moment wash over her. The gentle creak of the swings accompanied Tommy's laughter as he soared higher into the air. Emily's heart ached with both pride and worry. What could this man want to discuss? Was it the business problems she had been trying so hard to forget? Or was it more personal, perhaps about Tommy? "Ready, set, push." Tommy called out, urging her to give him a stronger shove. The joy on his face was infectious, momentarily pulling Emily back from the brink of her worries. "Okay, buddy." She laughed, giving him a hearty push. The little boy soared, his giggles filling the space around them. The park buzzed with families enjoying their day, yet all Emily could focus on was the figure in the faded cap. He seemed rooted to the spot, waiting for the right moment to approach. Emily felt a pang of anxiety mixed with a strange sense of inevitability. "Look, Mom! I'm flying!" Tommy yelled, flinging his head back in delight. "Just don't forget to come down." She replied, laughter breaking the surface of her concerns, even if just for a moment. Suddenly, the man in the blue cap took a step forward, crossing from the shade to the sun. Emily's breath hitched as she willed herself not to panic. Why did this feel like a scene straight out of a movie? When he reached her, he smiled warmly. "Emily," he said, a hint of recognition in his voice. "Do I know you?" she asked, confused. The familiarity was there, but she couldn't place it. It's been a long time, but I'm Jack, your brother's college friend. Her heart sank. The weight of old memories flooded back. She hadn't seen Jack in years, not since the funeral. Jack, she echoed, trying to wrap her head around the connection. Her brother had once praised him as a spirited entrepreneur, their dreams intertwined in ways Emily had not fully understood at the time. What brought him here now? I'm sorry for popping back into your life like this, he continued, his voice lower, more serious. I know it's a lot to deal with. But there is something important we need to talk about. Tommy, still oblivious, called out from the swings, Mom. Are you coming? I want to go faster. Emily turned back to him, then back to Jack, her heart racing between the excitement of Tommy's innocence and the storm swirling at the cusp of her adult life. Can it wait? She asked, desperate for the simplicity of the moment to hold just a little longer. I don't think so, Jack said quietly, concern etching his features. It's about your family and something that could affect Tommy. The weight of his words settled heavily, and Emily's heart thudded in her chest, panic settling in. The world around her began to blur. Okay, she breathed, taking a step closer to him, ready to dive into the uncertainty. What is it? As Jack began to speak, the air electrified. Tommy's joyous cries began to fade, and Emily felt the ground shift beneath her feet, the stability of her world trembling in the face of unknown truths. What had Jack come to reveal, and would it shatter the world she had built up or somehow weave them closer together in an unexpected way? With anticipation twining through her, she braced herself for the answer that might change everything. Jack took a deep breath, his gaze drifting toward Tommy as if searching for the right words, the right moment. Emily's heart pounded in her chest, a wild drumbeat echoing the uncertainty in her mind. The laughter of children played in the background, an irony that felt sharp against the heaviness of the conversation about to unfold. It's about your brother, Jack finally said, his voice low and steady, yet laced with emotion. There is something you need to know, something he left behind. Emily felt a chill run down her spine. The funeral had been an unbearable thing to endure. She had buried her brother, every smile, every memory tightly packed in that small box of grief. What do you mean? She asked cautiously, unsure if she truly wanted to hear the answer. Jack's eyes met hers, sincerity carved into his features. He believed in you, Emily. More than you know. There is something he planned, a project that he wanted you to take over. And it's important, especially for Tommy. Her breath caught. A project? Jack nodded. He had visions, dreams for the future. It's about a foundation he wanted to start, providing scholarships for children from families like ours. He wanted to help others, to make a difference. And he hoped you would continue that legacy. Emily felt as if the ground shifted, reality tilting beneath her feet. He never told me, her voice trailed off. Why hadn't he, her brother, shared this with her? I think he wanted to protect you. He didn't want to burden you after everything, Jack explained gently. But there is more. He put something into place, something financial that he left for you and Tommy. But it's tied to this foundation. Emily's heart raced, torn between elation at the prospect and fear of the responsibilities it brought. Could she handle it? What if she failed? All the memories flooded back, their shared adventures, long talks about their hopes. She felt warmth and sadness mingling. Tommy swung closer, his swinging slowing down as he shouted, Mom. Are you okay? Jack smiled, his expression softening at the little boy's concern. He's got your spirit, Emily. You can do this. But could she really? A sensation gripped her, a tug of war between hope and worry. Jack, I don't know if I'm strong enough. I'm just trying to keep everything together as it is. What makes this possible? Jack shifted his weight, a thoughtful look on his face. Your brother believed in your strength. He believed in your heart. That heart is what this project needs. And it could be the light for Tommy's future. This could change everything for him. A wave of emotion crashed over her. Could this really be the way to honor her brother? Could diving into this project grant Tommy a future she desperately wanted for him? As she contemplated this revelation, Tommy's laughter rang out, a sound of pure joy that broke the heavy atmosphere. Emily watched him sway with the swings, his carefree spirit a stark contrast to her tangled thoughts. Did she dare to follow this path? Jack seemed to sense her turmoil. You don't have to decide right now. Just think about it. But, Emily, your brother wanted you to have this chance. He wanted you to know that you are not alone in this. You never were. His words danced around her like fireflies in the twilight. Was this moment a crossroads? As the shadows lengthened in the park, Emily knew she had decisions to make, and whatever happened next would shape their future. All right, she whispered, determination slowly igniting within her. Let us talk more about it. Jack nodded, his relief palpable, as they moved to a nearby bench away from the swings. But just as she felt the resonance of shared purpose, she sensed a shadow pass overhead. A familiar figure loomed in the distance, watching them intently. Who is that? Emily's voice trembled slightly. Jack's face turned cold, the warmth fading from his gaze. That's someone from the past. Someone who could complicate everything. Her veins ran cold. With Jack beside her, the spark of hope ignited by her brother's dreams flickered dangerously. Just as she was ready to embrace this new possibility, trouble was brewing from the edges of her past. What would she face next, head-on or hidden? The answer hung tantalizingly in the air, a question waiting to reshape their lives once more. Emily's heart raced, a mix of fear and curiosity swirling within her. The figure in the distance was increasing in clarity, a tall silhouette that brought a flood of memories crashing down. She recognized him immediately. Jordan, her childhood friend and her brother's old rival. What is he doing here? She murmured, dread curling around her heart. Jack's expression darkened further. It's complicated. Let us not engage right now. Yet, as they lingered on the bench, she could feel Jordan's gaze piercing through her. He seemed hesitant, shifting from side to side as if he wanted to approach but was unsure. A part of her wanted to run, to shield herself from whatever complications he might bring. Another part, the stubborn one, felt compelled to understand. Maybe it's time I face him, she said, her voice firm. Jack looked torn, but he nodded in silence, respect for her decision quietly evident. She took a deep breath, steadying her resolve, and stood. I'll be right back, she promised Tommy, who was blissfully unaware of the tension growing in the air. As she approached, Jordan's eyes flickered with recognition and apprehension. Wasn't he the carefree boy she used to know? Time had lined his face with maturity, but the spark of mischief remained. Emily, he said, his voice hesitant but familiar. What do you want? She replied, adopting a harder edge than she felt. I came to check on you, he said, hands sliding into his pockets. I heard about everything. I wanted to see how you were holding up. That's rich coming from you, she shot back, the memories of their heated interactions bubbling to the surface. When was the last time you checked on me? Jordan's expression faltered, and for a moment, she saw something genuine beneath his bravado. I'm sorry, he admitted, his voice softer. I was wrapped up in my own world. I had no idea. Emily crossed her arms, skepticism cloaking her heart. A small part of her wanted to see the old Jordan, the loyal friend who didn't care about competition, who just wanted to be there for her. But that boy had been replaced by someone sharper, more guarded. Why now? She questioned, her brow furrowed with suspicion. What do you get out of this? He sighed, running a hand through his hair. Honestly? I didn't come for anything but to see you, and maybe it's time to put old grudges to rest. Your brother, he believed in second chances. The mention of her brother made her pause. Memories flowed in, a bittersweet tide. He always wanted reconciliation, healing. Could she allow for that, at least for a moment? What do you know about him? She pressed, readying herself for whatever revelation he would throw her way. I know he had plans, Jordan confessed, his voice taking on a serious edge. Plans he never shared fully with anyone. But he trusted me too, and I think he would want us to work together. Work together? Anger flared within her. This isn't some project you can just step into. He's gone, and now I have to figure it all out. I know what that feels like, he insisted, stepping closer. I've lost my share too. But I also know how important this is. Emily glanced back toward Jack and Tommy. Their warm connection felt tangible in the air, contrasting sharply with this conversation. Was Jordan's presence a distraction or an opportunity? Listen, she said, her voice lowering. If you want to help, we'll have to do this my way. No games. Just honesty. When their eyes locked, she saw it an old spark, an understanding buried under years of rivalry. I can do that, he replied, commitment aligning his words, with uncertainty hanging thick. Emily turned toward the playground, needing to regroup. This wasn't just about her anymore, but about Tommy, about honoring her brother. As she walked, her heart weighed heavy with the realization that this path could open doors or sweep her away from all she knew, and just like that, the air around her shifted. From distant shadows to closer chaos, she could almost taste the tumult to come. What would they uncover together? Would Jordan eventually become a source of strength or a reminder of old wounds? As she settled back next to Jack, she felt the heavy burden of what was to come, a collective journey into the unknown lay ahead. With every breath, she knew she was only beginning to scratch the surface of a deeper story. What had her brother truly set in motion? The sun hung low in the sky, casting elongated shadows behind them. A sense of urgency lingered, the past and future were colliding in ways she never imagined. Would she have the courage to forge a new path, or would she be lost in the labyrinth of her own fears? Suddenly, a buzzing sound broke the weight of the moment, drawing her attention. Jack's phone lit up, and the name flashing on the screen made her heart drop. It was an unknown number, but it felt ominously significant. What news were they about to receive? Jack's fingers hovered over the screen for a moment, uncertainty etched on his face. Emily felt the air thickening, her heartbeat pounding in her ears. She leaned closer, her eyes darting to the name. The unknown number buzzed with possibility, each vibration suggesting a mystery that could lead them deeper into the chaos surrounding them. It could be a mistake, Jack said, but the tremor in his voice betrayed his doubt. Or it could be important, Emily urged, the urgency of the moment pushing her forward. What if it's about your brother? You're right. He pressed the answer button, bringing the phone to his ear. Hello. Silence fell over them, broken only by the muffled voice on the other line. Jack's brow furrowed as he listened, his expression shifting from confusion to shock. What do you mean, tracking? He finally managed, eyes wide with alarm. Emily's stomach knotted. She caught Jordan watching them with an equally concerned expression. Anxiety intertwined with hope. Was this call the lifeline they needed or another layer of complications? Jack's jaw tightened, and all at once he turned away slightly, his body language screaming tension. Is it about Tommy? He suddenly asked, urgency clawing at his tone. The notion struck Emily like a punch. What if it was? I understand, Jack was saying, his voice steadying slightly. We'll do whatever we need to. Just tell us where to meet. Jack hung up and turned to Emily, the light in his eyes dimming a bit. We need to go. Now. Where? She pressed, dread creeping back in. The guy on the line, he wants to talk. Says he has information about things that could help us with everything. He hesitated, unsure how to convey the weight of the man's words. About my brother? She whispered, fear wrapping around her heart. Yeah. Jack ran a hand through his hair, frustration etching deeper lines on his forehead. But Emily, it sounded serious. We can't waste time. All right. She took a breath, glancing at Jordan. Are you coming or what? Jordan stepped forward, determination etching his features. I'm in. If that call is about your brother, we can't turn our backs now. We need to clear the air between us anyway. Let us go. With a nod, Jack led the way, their trio plunging into the unknown. Each step felt heavy, weighed down by the past yet filled with the flicker of hope. Emily could feel the adrenaline surging, propelling her towards something imminent, something that could change everything she thought she knew about her family and even herself. The pathway to the alleyway where they were supposed to meet was shrouded in shadows, the flickering streetlights casting eerie shapes across their path. Emily glanced at Tommy, now chewing on a piece of bubblegum, blissfully unaware of the storm swirling around their lives. Stay close, okay? Emily said gently, placing a protective hand on Tommy's shoulder. He nodded, sensing her tension but comforted by her presence. As they arrived at the designated place, Emily scanned the dim surroundings, anticipation mounting. This could either lead them to answers or deeper mysteries. In the silence of that moment, weighed down by the chaos of the past, her mind spun with questions. What if this was a trap? What if they uncovered something that shattered their worlds forever? Here, Jordan said, breaking the tension. He gestured toward a figure emerging from the shadows, a man dressed in dark clothing whose face remained hidden by the brim of a cap. Emily's heart hammered. Would they finally piece together the fragmented story of her brother? Or was this a decision that would haunt her even more? Emily, Jack whispered, a tension in his voice that made her blood run cold. You ready for this? She took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. As ready as I'll ever be. Let us do this. But as the figure took a step forward, exposing familiar features, Emily's breath caught in her throat. Wait, she began to say, but the words froze on her lips. This wasn't just any stranger. This was someone she had never expected to see again. Why now? And what did this mean for all of them? The air felt electric with unspoken promises and looming uncertainties. What revelation was coming, and could it change everything? Emily's heart raced, confusion swirling in her mind as she struggled to process the sight before her. The man who stepped from the shadows looked just like someone from her past, a ghost who had haunted her thoughts for far too long. Daniel? She whispered, fear and disbelief warring within her. His presence felt like a bittersweet memory pulled from the depths of her heart. How could he be here now, of all times? Emily, he breathed, eyes wide with a mixture of surprise and something deeper, something she couldn't quite place. Jack shifted his weight, uncertain. You know him? His tone was sharp, cutting through the moment like a knife. Yeah. It's complicated. Emily's mind raced. Daniel was her first love, but there had been too many demons in their pasts. With a heavy heart, she turned her attention back to him. What are you doing here? I came because I heard about everything. I thought maybe I could help. His voice was steady, but she caught the slightest tremble. Help? Jack interjected, distrust etched on his face. With what exactly? Daniel's gaze shifted from Jack to Tommy, who stood obliviously chewing his gum. I know about Tommy and what is going on with your brother. This is bigger than you think. I can guide you, but we need to go somewhere safer. Emily's chest tightened as she glanced at Jack, whose expression flickered between anger and concern. Why should we trust you? Jack's voice was low, a low rumble, filled with tension. I never wanted to hurt you, Emily, Daniel said softly, desperation creeping into his tone. I've changed. I want to make things right. Your brother's life might depend on it. What do you know? Emily pressed, feeling a blend of skepticism and a faint glimmer of hope. Did Daniel really have answers, or was this just another diversion? The alley felt even darker, shadows creeping closer as if they sensed the weight of their conversation. Daniel took a step closer, eyes earnest. I have contacts. People who know things. They can help track down your brother. But you have to trust me. We can't stay here, it's not safe. Jack's eyes darted between Emily and Daniel. I don't like this, Em. I don't care what his intentions are, we don't need him. Jack, Emily pleaded, feeling torn. This could be it. All we've been searching for, maybe he can really help us. The desperation in her voice was palpable. Tommy tugged at Emily's sleeve and looked up, nervous. Is he a good guy, Emily? The question hung in the air, heavy with implications. Could they really trust Daniel with everything at stake? As the silence stretched, Daniel stepped closer, lowering his voice. I promise, I want to help. But I can't do this in the open. If they find me here, it could mean trouble. Please, you have to come with me. Something flickered in Emily's heart. It felt fragile, like a candle fighting against a gust of wind. The past had shaped her, but present choices could redefine everything. She looked at Jack, then back at Daniel. Okay, Emily finally said, her voice steadying. Lead the way. Relief washed over Daniel's face, but there was also something darker shadowing his features, an urgency that sent shivers down her spine. As they moved into the depths of the alley, the darkness enveloped them. Emily couldn't shake the feeling that they were walking into something far bigger than any of them understood. What had Daniel gotten himself into, and what other secrets lay ahead? Would following him lead them to salvation or disaster? The air thickened with tension as they stepped deeper into the alley, each echoing footstep intensifying Emily's anxiety. Jack kept pace beside her, glancing over his shoulder as if the shadows would spring up and swallow them whole. Tommy, blissfully unaware, remained focused on his chewing gum, but worry etched across Emily's face. As Daniel paused before an unmarked door, the unease pooled in Emily's stomach. What's behind here? She asked, a mix of caution and curiosity in her voice. A safe place, Daniel replied, opening the door a crack to reveal a dimly lit room beyond. You'll be safe here while we figure out the next steps. Jack stepped forward protectively, a silent barrier between Emily and Daniel. Are you sure we can trust him? Jack's voice was low, an undercurrent of protectiveness threading through each word. Yes, Emily said before Daniel could answer, her voice resolute. I know him. He wouldn't come back if he didn't care about what happened. It was a gamble, one that churned in her gut. But the weight of her brother's unfinished business loomed large, pulling her into the unknown. Tommy tugged at Emily's hand. Mom, I'm getting tired. Can we go home? Emily knelt beside her son, brushing his hair back. Just a bit longer, sweetie. I promise this is going to help us. She turned to Daniel, her eyes bright with determination. Let us go in. Daniel stepped back, allowing them passage into the dim room. The neon lights flickered overhead, illuminating dusty furniture and graffiti-laden walls that whispered stories of lives lived and lost. Inside, the atmosphere felt charged, like a teetering dam about to burst. Daniel motioned them to sit around a rickety table. I need to explain everything, he began, urgency lacing his tone. Your brother's project? It goes deeper than just a foundation. He was on to something big about corruption, misallocated funds related to charities. People wanted him silenced. Emily's heart pounded. Silenced? But he never mentioned anything like that to me. That's because he was protecting you, Daniel replied, his eyes earnest. The foundation wasn't just about scholarships. It was about exposing a secret that could change the lives of many. What do you mean? Jack interjected, his brow furrowing. What secret? Powerful people are involved. Your brother's discovery made him a target. Daniel leaned closer, his voice dropping to a whisper. He put safeguards in place, but they're nothing without action. Emily felt her heart race again as the gravity of the situation settled over her like winter frost. But how does this tie into us? To Tommy? There are documents, accounts that need to come to light. They tie back to your family's name. It's all connected. If we act quickly, we can ensure that your brother's legacy lives on, and keep Tommy safe. Jack's protective instincts kicked back in. What do we need to do? First, we need to gather support, Daniel said, the fire igniting in his eyes. Gather evidence, find allies. You can't do this alone. Emily faltered for a moment, the past swirling around her like a dark cloud. She had avoided Daniel for years, unwilling to confront the tangled emotions that came with him. But now, confronting the shadows meant finding strength for the future, for her brother, for Tommy, and for the dream that lay ahead. Okay, she nodded slowly, her voice steady despite the whirlwind in her heart. I'll help you. But I need to know I can trust you. Daniel squared his shoulders. I swear, this is for your brother. For Tommy. We're in this together. As days turned into nights, Emily felt the transformation begin. With each piece of evidence she gathered, her resolve solidified. Old wounds resurfaced, yet amid the turmoil, something sparked an unfamiliar warmth igniting inside her, spreading courage. Jack became her anchor, grounding her during turbulent moments, while Tommy brought her joy in the chaos. The community rallied friends who had once been distant came back, eager to help, inspired by Emily's spark of nostalgia and hope. Together, with Daniel's guidance, they began to unveil the corruption that threatened to engulf their dreams, and slowly, like dawn chasing away the shadows, clarity emerged. Emily's heart filled with purpose as they pieced together the threads of scholarship, of support, of a foundation imbued with her brother's spirit. The night of the foundation's unveiling arrived, and Emily stood before a crowd, warmth blooming in her chest. This is for my brother. He believed in giving every child a chance. Together, we can change lives. As she spoke, Tommy's proud smile lit the room. Tears of joy brimmed in Emily's eyes. She felt whole, surrounded by allies and friends. Most importantly, she felt peace in the waves of uncertainty. They had triumphed over fear, over doubt. They had unearthed buried dreams, woven them into reality, and emerged stronger. As she looked around, she knew this wasn't just the conclusion, it was the beginning of a beautiful journey, a journey shared with Jack, Tommy, and yes, even Daniel. Emily knew now that love, trust, and connection were the true pillars of strength. The love of community, of family, had brought the light back into her life. And together, they would face whatever came next. Now, it's your turn. You need to subscribe now to catch the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support, comment with your reactions and feelings about this incredible ending. And don't wait not even one more second, share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Your support makes all the difference.